Welcome to Just a Bit Gaming. I'm your host, Ryan Chumpy Crash Reynolds, and this is your other host, Adrian Bertazoid Townsend.
Whoop.
And you are listening to our first ever episode 24.
That's right. First and last.
I don't know,
episode
man.
24.
Maybe we'll have an episode 24.2.
That's a possibility that probably won't happen.
Well, probably not. I think we'd be more apt to just call the next one episode 25.
Hey, that's a great idea.
That's the only kind I have.
We will do that for sure.
As far as numbers go, I keep them in order a lot of the time.
Do you?
Yeah, you know.
Why would you mix it up? Somebody already put those numbers in order for you. There's no reason to jumble that mess.
You know, this is relatively on topic to your question, but it's a funny story about work the other day.
Yeah.
I was talking to a couple of guests at a table, and this woman, oh God, how did she put it? She was confused about something on her bill. It didn't add up right.
Mm-hmm.
And I explained to her how it added up right and the taxes and everything. And even her husband was like, "This is correct, baby. Okay, this is right." Like, and she, for some reason, she was skipping over what taxes meant in a restaurant setting. And she goes, "Oh, okay." Like, got real rude. I was like, "All right, fine. You know what? It's not my fault. I don't read numbers." And I said, "Well, I'm fairly certain that's actually called counting, but yeah."
How do you not read numbers?
I'm not.
She's showing her ignorance, I guess.
I don't know. I think she was kind of dancing between being pissed and trying to make a joke of it.
Yeah.
You know? Her husband thought that it was funny. It's not necessarily reading numbers as much as counting.
Did he laugh too?
Yeah, he laughed. He thought it was funny. Which made her more mad.
Oh, yeah.
The good news is they ended up leaving, so.
Well, that's good for you.
It is. They did not stay because that was days ago. That would have been miserable had they still been there.
Man, the stories, I've heard several stories from Ryan over the years, restaurant work through his many years in the business of different restaurants.
Oof, yeah.
They all are similar in the way that people get angry and try to
dude, people come
reason with you.
Yeah. They come in and people get fucking mad at restaurants, dude.
It doesn't make sense to me. Like, why come into a restaurant and do something that is supposed to be nice and pleasurable, have a meal, and then just pick it apart and get mad at every little thing?
It's like these couples get home from work and they're like, "Hey, what kind of mood you in?" "Ah, total shithead." "What about you?" "Dumb dick." "Well, let's go out and eat."
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
Let's go pick on somebody.
I've never, let's just put it this way. When I go to a restaurant and the service is poor, I will generally, depending on how poor it is, I will generally either A, not leave a tip and be fine and still, if my food was good, whatever, and leave. Or B, if the service was real bad, then I will let somebody know, like head management or something. But, especially when it comes to food, like I'm not even talking to servers. Servers are usually pretty decent all the way around. I've never had truly bad service, I guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, oh well, I went there to eat. If the food was good, great. Food wasn't good, then I just won't go back.
Right.
That's all there is to it.
That's just the issue right there.
You don't need to get all bent out of shape and take it out on the people there. It's not worth it.
You've heard a lot of the stories. You guys would be amazed some of the things that get said within the walls of if you've never worked food service before, have you ever worked food service?
No. And this is the reason why.
I feel like maybe you should part-time for a while. Just to experience it.
Customer service in general, like working at retail.
Customer service in general is.
Yeah, I worked a lot of retail.
It's atrocious.
It sucks. Yes.
Yeah.
Retail, I don't think I had some pretty miserable customer experiences working retail, and some that are just flat ruin your day. But you get older and wiser and you learn to brush it off, and it's, but when I was younger working at places like Toys R Us or I worked at Walmart for a brief period of time, and different places like that. People are really, really shitty, man.
Yeah, dude.
And they
people
see
are bad
this
fucking
kid,
news.
and they see this kid who's not doing everything the way they want you to do it. So they take out their aggressions on you.
My favorite is when people find out I'm the manager, and they say things like, "How old are you anyway?"
Yeah.
"How even old are you?" Because they English good,
Yeah.
As though my age matters.
As if it was a big deal as to how things operated within the.
Yeah. And then whenever they find out that I'm nearing 30 years old, they're like, yeah, but well, you look young. I'm like, well, you know what?
Thank
Is
you.
scientific fact, looking young actually makes you do a shittier job.
That's
It makes you unqualified for the position you're in. You know?
Yeah. It makes no sense. People are in awfully shitty moods when they're driving too.
Oh my God, man.
Like, I don't get
Road rage, man.
road rage is horrible.
It's the worst.
Yeah. Are you a road rager at all?
No, actually, I'm a pretty laid back driver.
I'm a very laid back driver. Like, if somebody cuts me off or does something, whatever, you know, I will. Yeah, sure, I'll get angry. And
I mean, I've been known to fill my car with expletives.
Yeah.
You know, and stew within them briefly, but I'm not like an aggressive road rage type. I had a buddy in high school who was a road rage type of guy. Like, you cut him off, he's going to ride your bumper. He's going to cut you off. You know, he's going to flip you off or throw things at you through the window. Like,
see, that's
he wrecked 2 cars our senior year.
Oh man.
Doing this. I remember whenever I was on my way to interview for my job at Fast Signs back in 2015, I was driving and my seatbelt got caught. Like, you know, whenever you like turn a corner or something and your seatbelt locks and you can't move it, it locked but kind of pulled in and was far too tight. And so I'm on the turnpike driving 70 miles an hour trying to get here to Edmond, and I'm reaching down beside me trying to jiggle my seatbelt loose. And I guess I had drifted across the lane, but I thought, I mean, last I looked up, there was nobody around me, right? So I look up and there's this guy coming from behind me, and he comes around me and he's just yelling at me. I can't hear him because, well, I mean, I'm not going to roll down my window to be degraded on the turnpike, obviously. I'm sure it had something to do with, I don't know, you fucker.
Yeah, or cocksucker.
You stupid idiot. You're really flubbing up out here on Kilpatrick, bud.
Yeah.
So he gets out in front of me and I try to change lanes, and he's basically riding the middle line and just drifting back and forth, not letting me change lanes.
Oh, that's horrible.
Like, staying right in front of me. And he was paying so little attention that he ended up on the shoulder because he almost ran into the back of a
karma, man,
of a box truck.
Yeah.
And
I mean, that's the other thing. If you're going to get all pissy and try to cause harm on other people because you're so mad, you're putting yourself and other people in danger. It's like those are people that get your tempers in check, man. It's not cool. It's not cool. You're operating a dangerous weapon, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Could be considered that. It's not safe. The ones that really get me, though, the ones that really, really irritate me are the ones that lay on their horn like they foresee something happening that they don't like. Like, maybe somebody is getting ready to make a turn and they decided to turn last minute, let's say. And you still are like a few car lengths behind them, you know, unless you're tailgating. And then they'll lay on their horn, or somebody pulls out in front of you. Let's say somebody pulls out in front of you and you see it coming. You lay on your horn and you're, pass them. It's already been done. And you're still laying on your horn, you know, well past the accident.
Let everybody know how wound up I am about this.
That happened, dude. Every time that happens, I get so irritated. That happened the other day. We were sitting at Sonic getting some drinks, and I heard somebody lay on our horn. I was like, what in the heck is going on? I look over and then somebody's pulling into the Sonic parking lot. And then the car, after he pulled in, he's already well in there. Then the car passes, still hitting his horn, still going. I was like, what the? Why? What's the big deal? You know, when you really showed them.
When the apocalypse happens, everybody says that there's going to be like the sounding of the trumpets or whatever. What it's actually going to be is the horsemen are going to show up blasting their horns in Dodge Rams.
That's you were,
and everybody will just die of aggravation.
Yeah.
Or intimidation because Dodge Rams.
That's right. Man, I guess we need to start talking about video games at some point.
I guess so. Didn't we just talk about Crazy Taxi and GTA in completion just now?
Yeah, that's right.
That's what we've been talking about since the beginning of the show.
Crazy Taxi, 9 out of 10.
Yeah, absolutely.
9 out of 10. Love that game. It's a fantastic game.
It is a good game. I had fun with it whenever I was like 9. You know,
It was a fun and short burst type of game.
it was a fun mobile game before
can-
anybody knew what a mobile game was.
Yeah, and you can lay on your horn as much as you want. and
Probably
not
get points
piss off-
for it.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
not
yeah.
piss anybody off. You know, it's it's great,
So what you been playing?
dude. So Xbox One released a few more backwards compatible games a week ago.
Yeah.
So it was like April 17th, and they have done an outstanding job with this backwards compatibility. And I'm not sure how many people know and recognize what it is that they've done here, but they're taking specific games and whatever games they can get licensing for and up-resing them. Well, I don't even know. They're not really remastering anything. They're leaving the game untouched.
Right.
But they've run an emulator that kind of ups the graphical power of the game, and they look amazing. I mean, it truly blew me away. So they released on the 17th, they released a few new games, and some of those games are games that I already own. And that's another benefit is if you own the disc of the game, all you need to do is pop it in, it downloads it,
Oh wow.
and you have it. But if you don't own the games, you can download them from the store and play them that way too. So the list of games is really good, and the two that I have that they released is Panzer Dragoon Orta and Jade Empire. And neither one of those games I've ever played. I didn't have them when
Right.
when I had an Xbox. I
When
bought
they-
those
when they were
recently.
new.
Yeah. So I went ahead and popped those in just to try them out. And I'm familiar with Panzer Dragoon on the Sega Saturn, so I know the game style. And I put that game in and it downloaded, got into the game, and I thought I was playing like an Xbox 360 game.
Really?
The graphical power that they've given these games is really incredible. The fact that they are taking the time to do this, because there's a lot of programming involved to make these games run on a new system, not to mention the licensing and stuff that they have to get a hold of. It's pretty incredible, and it is absolutely the way you should play these games. Playing them on a tube TV is probably like the way it was intended was cool, but
Oh sure. And you've got a good sized tube TV, right?
yeah,
Still, you still have that one?
yours.
Well, yeah.
Your old one. Yeah. And I've tried those out on there, and it's cool and all, but when you see like the polygons, the way they were intended to be seen or the way they were made,
Right.
that's incredible. Like, it's so crisp and clean playing on, and I'm playing this on a 4K television, and it should be blurry and just awful to look at, and it's not. It's really, really cool. Same with Jade Empire. Jade Empire looks amazing as well. It almost looks like it improves like draw distances and stuff like that as well.
I mean, I'm sure on a level it does.
Like I don't understand the computing power behind it or how this stuff works, but I do know that what I can see is pretty incredible. So honestly, guys, if you are into Xbox originals, or if there was a game that you wanted to play and didn't get to, the list is pretty decent right now. They still got a lot more to come, but they've got Panzer Dragoon, they've got Morrowind. Did you ever play Morrowind?
I never played Morrowind.
Morrowind would be a good one to check out. They've got what else? They've got a ton of Star Wars games. Blinks the Cat is a game that I always wanted to try.
I remember Blinks. Let me look at your list here.
Ninja Gaiden Black is a great one. Crimson Skies, Red Faction 2.
I wonder how SSX 3 is on.
SSX is a fun game too.
I always liked the SSX franchise.
SSX 1 is the only one I really played. When it was one of the original PS2 games.
Tricky was the fucking jam.
Was it?
Dude. Man, yeah, it was outlandish. Like SSX 1 and SSX 3 had like an element of realism, like, you know, obviously some of those tricks and the air that you're getting, it's like, well, that's not possible in real life.
Yeah.
But SSX Tricky, some of the combos you would do, like had you like on a big jump, a big air, and then you could do like certain button combination and charge up and like break dance on your board or flip it around like a helicopter, or like one of the characters, his special move was doing the worm, like the like the
I
dance
seem
move.
to remember that.
Yeah, his name was Eddie. He had a giant afro, and I had a 12-inch action figure of him because he was my fucking hero at the time.
Wasn't he on the box art?
He was on the box art,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
I still have that and SSX3 for PS2.
Okay.
We
Yeah,
should play those.
I would love to play those. That's another arcade style games have really gone away as of late. You know?
Right.
Much like the platformers that we talked about.
Absolutely.
Before. But SSX is it's like an arcadey style snowboarding game.
Yeah, and it's awesome.
Yeah, you pull off. It's super simple and easy to play, and you can pull off these tricks simply. It's a great game. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2 are also on the backwards compatibility.
Is that
list.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are also
up-resed KOTOR.
Yeah,
that sounds kind of bomb.
So
I could go with that.
I would love to go back and play that. I played the first one, and at that time I was super into Halo 2, so I didn't give it the proper enough attention that I would like to have, and I kind of gave up on it early. It is, though, one of my buddies who's a big Star Wars buff. It is one of his favorite games of all time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of Star Wars people, that is one of their favorite games.
Yeah.
Also, Black was pretty good for what it was
Black
at the time.
Played.
Psychonauts was awesome.
Psychonauts is good. Yeah.
I played that on PSP back in the day.
Conquer Live and Reloaded. That's another one.
Shit, dude. I never played Conquer. Bad Hair Day or Reloaded.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, you need to change that.
Well, he was from Banjo-Kazooie, right?
I don't think he was in Banjo-Kazooie. He's from Rare.
He was from a different game though. Originally, he was just a nothing, like he was an NPC of a different Rare game.
Oh, really?
And then they gave him his own spin-off.
You could be right.
I'm pretty sure he was in Banjo-Kazooie.
I don't recall him being in Banjo-Kazooie, but I could definitely see that. And that sounds kind of familiar, but Conker's like, that is the Live and Reloaded. Conker on 64 is kind of one of the...
Oh, he made his debut as a playable character in Diddy Kong Racing.
Oh, before Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay. Well,
I just knew he was in something before.
Live and Reloaded is one of the more expensive Xbox original games, and it's harder to get a hold of. I don't know if it was rare when it was made, if it was like hard to get a hold of, or if it was just people really like it and they're holding on to their copies.
Right.
But Conquer Live and Reloaded is basically it's a re-release of the N64 Conquer, but it also threw in a multiplayer where
cool.
people would have not Battle Royale. They would have a team
right.
versus mode or whatever.
You know, I've always wondered what the impetus was to take a character like so I said he was an NPC from a different game before. I was wrong on that. I was wrong about everything except for the fact that he was a Rare character. But I wonder what the impetus was to take a cute, fuzzy little red squirrel from a family-friendly game and do that.
Turn him into this raunchy character.
Yeah, this raunchy, gun-toting, badass little squirrel. I wonder, like, whose idea that was. Who was sitting around and was like, you know what we should do to Conquer is we should give him heroin.
No. Alcohol. Conker starts out.
He's a drinker.
He's drunk. Like,
oh, okay.
Yeah, and he's going through all this stuff, and I don't know if it's through his drunkenness that he's seeing what's going on, but yeah, the game starts off with him coming out of a pub, just wasted, and it's got some raunchy stuff. They've got a flower in there that's got giant boobs. And it's so funny, like. The storyline with that, they've got a level where a boss is a literal giant turd, and
like I wonder whose idea that was.
Yeah,
and who okayed it.
Yeah, it's because it on the N64 nonetheless,
right?
A system that Nintendo doesn't typily allow stuff like this.
No, and then because all the kids that played Diddy Kong saw that come out and didn't know what was going on there, and we're like, oh yeah, I want to play that.
Yeah, it is. It's really in the prime time heyday of 3D platformers to release another game that looks like a kid could play it.
Yeah.
And this is not a kid appropriate game by any means. And it's really kind of amazing that Nintendo allowed this game to be released. And I'm glad they did. It's a really good platform.
I need to play it.
Yeah, it's funny. It's a good platformer. Anyway, Live and Reloaded. If you have an Xbox One, You can download. I think they're like $10 to download
Oh, cool.
these games. So yeah, there's another way. It's also on Rare Replay, which is it's like a collection of rare games that was released on the Xbox One. That's a really great compilation disc. But yeah, the Xbox backwards compatibility is a cool thing, and I'd love to see more of this come. They're still working on Xbox 360 games as well. They don't have the full library, but there's a few games I would like for them to still release. But man, they're working on this stuff, and it's great. And I like when companies are still acknowledging and using their old franchises and their old games.
Yeah, because there's always going to be a market for that if it went well in the first place, you know.
That is true. Man, while we're on the topic of Xbox One, they had a free preview or free play weekend this weekend with PUBG.
Yeah.
And so PUBG is one that I wanted to play on the Xbox, but I didn't want to buy it again because I already have it on the PC. And so I went ahead and gave it a shot just to see. And that is a good version. It really is. I heard a lot of bad stuff when it came out about lag and just things not working like they should. And I think they've, for the most part, ironed out a lot of those kinks.
Right.
That game is so like in my element to play with a controller. I'm not a mouse and keyboard type of guy, and it's more difficult for me to play and be accurate that way. It's hard. But with a with a controller, I feel at home. You know, I play all my games with a controller, and playing this, like as soon as I jumped into the first game, I was doing really well. I was getting lucky too. Let's just say that. But as far as the kills, I got 3 kills, and those were all pretty easy kills. Like I felt like I could aim and shoot at a guy easily and hit him, versus the mouse where I feel like you
got to move it around.
It's hard, you know. So I got 3 kills, and I was basically in the middle of the circle almost the entire game. Like I didn't have to move much.
Yeah.
So
you just tower defense at that point.
Pretty much, yeah. So they dropped me down, and I didn't have to move very far to get to the center. And then as the center was closing in, and I was in one building, and it was getting closer and closer. I was like, well, shit, I'm just going to stay in this building then and shoot anybody who comes in here. And sure enough, down to the very last time that the circle closes in, I was safe in that building. And then the very last circle was just outside the building. So all I had to do, what happened was, okay, I was number 2. And I posted this on Instagram. But this was super exciting to me. I've never got this far in PUBG before.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think 7th place is the furthest on solo. Is the furthest I've ever been.
Yeah. I think I've got 3 chicken dinners on solo.
Solo's
for mobile.
Yeah. Well, and I still haven't picked up much of the mobile version. I still enjoy it. It's just
my team has a lot of chicken dinners on mobile. Yeah.
Well, what happened was I was in this building, and it was down to 4 people, and I could hear all the gunfire going off. And when you get down that close, the circle is tiny. So there's not very many places where they can be. While we were there, I heard some gunfire going off, and I was like, oh, and I see the number drop down to 3. And then I saw another guy run towards the center of the circle, and I'm standing in the window. I was like, easy pot shot. Killed him. Jumped out the window, went to run to the center of the circle because it closed in the last and final time.
Right.
And I was like, the other guy's got to be doing this. So while I was running out there, I was just looking all around me to make sure that I could get him. And get to the center of the circle, and I'm by a tree, and I'm trying to run around it, and somebody's shooting at me, and it's hitting the ground. And I turn around, try to find him, and I couldn't find him at all. I have no idea where he was.
I bet he was in the storm, in the blue, like taking his damage from a vantage point, just waiting for you to run to the circle.
You're probably right.
Because he knew that you were going to, and he probably had full health and bandages and everything, and was just waiting.
So the thing is, I wanted to do the same thing, but I didn't have any bandages or anything to be able to repair myself.
Right.
And I thought it would be a game of chicken at that point. So I just felt like I'm going to go ahead and get it out there and see if I can find him. And you're right, because he was hitting the ground when he was firing at me, tells me that he was a little bit away.
Yeah.
And he wasn't right up on me.
I've been
Man,
playing
that's a
so
good
much.
tactic.
Yeah.
I should have done that. If I would have just stayed in my building, I think I would have got it.
One of my solo play wins, I waited in a car and let the circle close away from me. And it was me and two other guys. And I watched both of them. I was on a road looking down over a valley. And I watched both of these guys running towards the circle. And so I popped out and sniped one. And then the other guy stopped and looked, but I was already back in the car, so he couldn't see me.
Yeah.
And then once he ran to the circle, he was hiding behind a crate. And I just took the long way and drove behind him.
Did you run over him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Most of my kills in that game are vehicular.
Man, I have such a hard time. That in that same game, I jumped in a car and was about to run a guy over, and I would miss him, turn around, have to come back. I missed him again, turn around, come back, and I finally hit him after the third time. But it was not easy to do.
I am far better at running people over than shooting them.
That's a good skill to have. And actually, in the mobile version, I noticed that they put a lot of cars in there.
There's so many cars.
Yeah, so that's cool.
I've been playing so much of that game that I had a dream about it last night.
That's how you know the game is good. You're dreaming about it.
Yeah. I've played so much of that game. It is ridiculous.
So that game is great. It really is. And Fortnite is taking the world by storm, as we've talked about.
But I'm kind of sick of hearing about Fortnite, if we're being honest.
I'm a little bit sick of hearing about Fortnite as well. And I'm sick of hearing about the PUBG versus Fortnite. I'm in the boat. Play what you like. Doesn't matter.
Sure.
There is no one game is better than the other. To me, it's what do you prefer to play?
Yes.
But there is a lot of games scheduled to come out this year. And also a lot of them are big time franchises that are trying to play on this new Battle Royale formula.
Well, come on. They're cashing in.
They're cashing in, and I'm not blaming them for it, but I really think it's going to tire this system out. You know, this gameplay style is going to be done.
The problem with other franchises jumping into the Battle Royale thing is that PUBG and Fortnite have already both done it and done it so well in such different ways.
Yeah. And
have been adapting and patching the game to kind of cover the gamut of the things that they missed the first time around. Not only is, I don't know, I feel like anybody else dropping the Battle Royale gauntlet basically is, people aren't really going to care.
Right.
You know,
you're in one boat or the other. And if you enjoy what you play, you're not going to try to experiment out of that.
Right. You know, Call of Duty players are going to pick up a new Call of Duty game because it's Call of Duty, not because they put a Battle Royale system on there.
Yeah. And that's the rumor that Call of Duty is, the next Call of Duty is going to drop single player altogether, and they're going to implement a Battle Royale system. And that's going to be kind of the focus of the game.
Now,
that's a mistake.
Okay. The one way for a franchise like Call of Duty that I could see that actually being a really cool way to go about it would be to drop in a historically accurate scenario. And instead of 100 players, every man for himself, you've got 50 and 50 that are actual competing squadrons.
Like a war.
Like an actual war zone.
Like just a miniature war.
Yes.
I can see that.
And so everybody would have their own. I mean, it's not dissimilar to a game like Overwatch, where everybody's got their own talent and their own ability and their own place in the squad, except for you've got a 50-man squad or a 100-man squad on each side with actual ranking officials and the captains who started the squad and actual, pieces and groups that have to go handle their own things during these.
So more of a
warlike matches,
cooperative based system.
Yeah, like a massive capture the flag almost.
So the only thing is though, Call of Duty is so known for its twitchy gameplay and oh shit, I got killed, respawn, do it again. Get killed, do it again. It's people know it for that fast paced action. I just don't think a Battle Royale is fitting for a game like Call of Duty.
Well, and you're right, because permadeath kind of kills that energy.
Right.
Of a game like that.
Right.
Kills
and
the energy.
It's so fast paced. Like everybody's gonna be running in trying to get a kill, and then you're dead and you're done. You're out.
Right. Because sometimes like playing PUBG or even Fortnite, I'll wait 5 minutes to get a match queued up and then get in the plane or the party bus or what the fuck ever and parachute or paraglide and hit the ground and get shot because I didn't hide myself enough while I stopped to sneeze.
Right.
And so I waited 5 or 10 minutes to get into this match. It lasted 37 fucking seconds. And then it's like, well, I don't fucking feel like doing this again. By the time I get halfway through 2 matches, I could have watched a whole episode of Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Or Better Call Saul. That's what I'm watching right now.
Yeah.
So those games do frustrate me on that level. That's why but I do enjoy the energy of a Battle Royale game.
Yeah.
So that's why I finally chose a camp effectively and decided to like commit to getting good at PUBG Mobile.
Right.
So I was like, you know what? If I'm going to play these matches, because I've got a squad that I play with almost daily, like if I'm going to, play this game and try to enjoy it, I better like fucking last in these matches, right?
Right.
Because Fortnite, Jesus, I still can't last in Fortnite.
No, Fortnite.
I've been playing it again for like
for
2
me.
weeks. The highest I've gotten so far was 11th place.
That's still pretty good.
I got 11th on a solo and 9th in a squad.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Which isn't terrible. I think my best win so far of the two, I told you that my squad for PUBG Mobile is the Slay Queens. Right? Slay! None of the other guys were on. And so I got on to play a match and I accidentally hit squad instead of solo. And so it paired me up with 3 randos that I don't fucking know, And we all have our microphones on and they're asking me, do you have a microphone? Do you have a microphone? Hey, Jumpy, do you have a microphone? So I finally get on. I'm like, hey, boys. I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, hey, boys, we have a rule with the Slay Queens. You can't wear your shirts. Everybody take off your shirts because that is a team rule. That's our uniform. It's no shirts. If we are wearing shirts, everybody has to wear shirts and no pants.
Right.
So like, everybody take off your shirts, please. They're like, who the fuck is this guy? Who the fuck is this? Just mute him. I was like, you can't mute me without muting everybody. So I'm just fucking with these guys. And they were like, what do you guys want to drop? And I was like, school. And they're like, dropping at the school, suicide. And I was like, no, it's dropping at the school. Like, but we're going to die if we go to the school unless we shoot everybody first. And so they kept placing markers in like strategic places. And I kept deleting their markers and putting my marker on the school.
Oh, man.
I'm going to jump at the school, guys. I'm going to jump at the school. And they did not think it was funny. And so,
you think?
So we all finally drop at the farm and we're running together and then we see a battle up ahead of us. And one of the team leader, the functioning team leader was like, all right, everybody post out here, wait for blah, 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 blah. And on my count, we're going to go all at once. And so he's like 3, 2. And whenever we all run out, I just into my mic go, slay. And I start yelling slay and they all dropped the fucking match.
Oh, really?
They all bailed on me.
Man, that's bad.
Yeah, I ended up taking 2nd place that match on a squad by myself.
Nice.
Squad match by myself.
On the mobile version, you say mic. Does it use the mic on your phone?
You can. Yeah,
Okay.
you can just turn up the sound and use the onboard mic and speaker.
Right.
I use headphones.
Okay. Man, I've been frustrated with mine because the sound doesn't work on my version at all. I think I need to maybe uninstall it and reinstall it.
It doesn't work at all?
At all. Yeah, I've gone into
like the
sound
gameplay
settings.
sound doesn't work?
Nothing. Like when I played PUBG Mobile, there is no sound.
Huh.
And I thought I went into all the settings in the game, nothing. I went into my phone settings, nothing. It's weird.
It's very bizarre. I'll look at it because I'm so much more technological than you are.
I downloaded it the day it came out, so I really think that maybe I just need to uninstall it and reinstall it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you're probably right.
But dude, I to your previous point about the getting sick of having to go in and find your weapons, like the slow stuff leading up into the fast-paced stuff, I agree with you on that. And I think that maybe Call of Duty, if they were to play their cards right and evaluate their gameplay style and implement a faster-paced Battle Royale system, it could work. It could work.
But it could just also fall completely flat.
It could, yeah. But if it's just a gameplay mode and extra and you don't like it, fine, whatever. You still have the regular Call of Duty. It still pisses me off that they're getting rid of the single player because I play every single Call of Duty. I play through the single player campaign. I love them.
Literally cannot find a reason why getting rid of the single player campaign on Call of Duty is a good idea.
It's not.
That is not a sound business decision.
No. I really think they're going to see a hit in sales because of it.
Yeah, and then they're going to end up releasing a first-player campaign, like a first-person single-player campaign as an afterthought later, and it's going to be shit.
Or not.
Or maybe they won't.
Because there's a lot of... I could see, like, well, they think that nobody plays the campaign. Well, there are a lot of people that play the campaign, so they don't want to sink the time and money into creating a campaign.
You know what they're going to do instead is they're going to retool and re-release their better-selling previous games. That's what they'll end up doing.
Probably. But the new game is a Black Ops game. So it's Black Ops 4. Black Ops historically is known for the really great storylines.
Yeah.
And when you're dropping that out completely, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like World War II, that game had one of the better stories of any game I played last year. I really enjoyed it. It felt like a over-the-top action historical movie to me, and I enjoyed the hell out of it.
What system did you play it on?
PlayStation. Yeah, and I still play the multiplayer. My daughter, I've got 2 of my daughters playing it.
Yeah,
they are so damn good at the multiplayer in that, and just by happenstance, I just put them on there, and they've never played it before, and I taught them the controls a little bit, and she was a little bit slow to get used to it, but she was getting kills like crazy, man. She would finish out every match with like 7 kills. And for a first timer, that's pretty damn good.
I think the last Black Ops game I played was the first Black Ops.
That was the best one, I think. Black Ops 2 was good too.
I think I still have it probably on my hard drive.
The only campaign that I have yet to play on the Call of Duty series is Black Ops 3. And I really do want to play it. I don't know why I never got around to it. Because the game, I was waiting for it to get cheaper.
Yeah.
And it never did.
Were you a Medal of Honor fan?
Yes.
Back in the day?
In the PlayStation 1 days?
Yeah, what the fuck happened to Medal of Honor?
Call of Duty took over. You know, it's the only thing I can think of.
Man, I would love to see another Medal of Honor game.
Medal of Honor was cool. I would like to see more historical battle games. They got away from that format. I would like for them to go back to it. It's time.
Wasn't Battlefield 1941?
Battlefield was great.
Wasn't that a big almost pseudo royale type game?
Yes,
in its own right, like with the squads and everything.
It is. So yeah. So Battlefield is.
So that's kind of been done.
Yeah, but in a different way. You still respawn in Battlefield. You can play it. There is a mode in Battlefield where you can play where you don't respawn, I believe. But yeah, Battlefield is known for class-based combat where you choose your class, you have your loadout, and you go in there and you can be a medic or a sniper or an engineer or a soldier.
Which I'll be honest, I really dig class-based combat.
I do too.
I've always liked that system.
That's always been really fun to me too. Battlefield has always been historically one of my favorite multiplayer styles.
I usually choose the things that go boom class.
So like engineers.
Fucking rocket launchers and grenades and shit.
Engineers.
Yeah, that's my jam, dude.
Yeah.
Fortnite, for a few days last week, reopened their exploding weapons only mode. Like where it was only rocket launchers, grenade launchers.
So it was
stuff
all
like
people
that.
riding on their rocket launchers? Because that seems to be the thing to do in Fortnite.
I don't know how that works.
I don't either, but I see a ton of videos about it.
Like I said, I don't last long playing the game. I might as well just uninstall it because
I thought about doing the same. But Battlefield is also wanting to get into the Battle Royale. And I think it can work better in Battlefield than Call of Duty. Because they've already, like you said,
they're primed for it.
They've already done that.
Yeah.
But if they were to take on, like, Battlefield is known for huge multiplayer team-based battles where you have, gosh, I don't know, like 200 versus, or 100 versus 100. They're known for having a lot of people in the server at once. So if they were to still keep that maximum number of people and make it just a bigger battle royale, I think it could work.
Yeah, absolutely.
It would be cool. But then they have other games that are trying to jump into the battle royale just on a whim, like jump into a cash grab. And one of them that I tried recently, my buddy told me about it, Radical Heights. Have you heard of this one?
No.
Radical Heights is it's a game that is playing on 80s nostalgia, but also it's just a straight up battle royale game. It's like it's got the graphical it's got graphical similarities to like Fortnite.
Okay.
Kind of cartoonish. So you run around and everything is 80s themes, like an 80s game show. Imagine if battle royale.
Oh wait, yeah. I have, yeah.
So they're in pre-alpha right now, and it's free on Steam. I went ahead and downloaded it to give it a try. That game is buggy as hell, man. It is so like pre-alpha. It is very
Like
pre-alpha.
charmingly buggy or like fucking broken?
No, like broken. Like textures aren't loading in. The character animations seem off.
Why would you even open it up at that stage?
That's my
of development.
point. Like, I think the game is 5 months into development, and they're already opening it up for people to play. It's like,
that to me is like a musician that's working on a new album, putting out an album that's nothing but them like reading their lyrics.
right, and that's how it feels. I mean, feels like it feels like, hey, we got an idea here, and we want people to be excited when the real game comes out, while the hype is still up. So we're gonna get it out there now, and I believe they're even. Now, I could be wrong. They could be. I think they're selling stuff within the game too, so it might be their way of trying to generate more income to fund the project.
Maybe
It could be, but it is such a bad idea because I'm playing this game and I'm like, I don't want to play it anymore. I played 2 games and I'm like, yeah, this game is broken. It looks bad. The world is so barren. Like there is nothing there. You know, there's buildings and stuff. Good luck trying to get into them. Like some of them you can go in, some of them you can't. You know, there's not very many items to find. It's too early.
just not there.
It's just too early. You know, wait to release this stuff.
Well, the problem that's the issue. That's the space race that we're in right now.
Yeah.
Is they were like, all right, well, we're making this game, all this other success of the others, and then all these big league players just said, okay, well, we're gonna release Battle Royale type franchise installments as well. So we better fucking get a toehold, let
Now.
people know that this is happening now.
Yeah.
You know?
It just simply doesn't work that way.
No, just finish a fucking game.
Yeah.
Finish making it and then put it out.
If you finish a game and that's still Battle Royale, even though people may be past that point, if you put a unique enough spin on it,
People will come back and visit it, you know?
No, I mean, if it's good game, like I could see an 80s style Battle Royale if it was done in a very like unique way that's not following the same trends as PUBG and Fortnite, and release it a little bit later after you've been able to sit there and polish it and make it a proper fun game that you're proud to release. People will play it. People will play
I
it.
guarantee that's their whole push is they're worried that by the time they finish it, they won't be relevant to Battle Royale
Yeah.
and they won't be relevant to Ready Player One.
Yeah, right, exactly. So
That's their worry.
they're getting in it for the wrong reasons.
They had an idea, and I think based on what you said, it kind of reads that way that they might have just had this idea of like, okay, this shit's popular,
Yeah.
let's do something that's going to be fucking popular.
Yeah.
And you know what? Maybe when the game's finished, it'll be just fantastic. It might be. Who knows? It seems fun. You
Yeah.
know, an 80s themed battle royale.
Like the concept
Cool.
the concept is really
I'm-
cool and it
I'm
appeals to
down.
me. It
Yeah.
appeals to me. Like even when I got into the game, they had an opening cinematic of like 80s stuff and it was just very like tongue-in-cheek 80s humor. And
Right.
it was good and I enjoyed it. Then I get into the game, I'm like, man, guys, why?
What'd you
Why?
do here?
Yeah, let's
why
wait.
why you did this?
Now I uninstalled the game, and you know when it finally is done, and I hear that people say, "Oh, it's done now," I probably still won't care because I felt like I've already been soured.
You already
My
got that
experience
bad
has already
taste in
been
your
soured.
mouth.
Yeah. Bad idea. Don't do that. That's my point.
Well, then I'll wait until it comes out and then forget to do anything about it.
There you go. That'll work.
I did remember yesterday that I have a Steam account.
Do you?
Yeah.
Do you have a PC that's able to run it? Even in the pre-alpha state, I don't. It might still be bad.
I don't know.
I know-
The newest computer in my house is 6 years old.
Yeah, you won't be able to run it. Remember my story last year with my buddy who went and bought a PC so he could play
For
PUBG
PUBG.
was?
So you
Yeah,
don't-
his computer wasn't that old and he couldn't run PUBG.
Ah, that sucks.
Yeah.
Because once I realized that I still had a Steam account, I was like, oh, hell yeah, I'm going to download PUBG.
Well, if you ever feel the need to upgrade your PC or buy a new one, I can help you build a nice PC, unless you just do laptop.
Anybody that's listening, I bet Adrian would extend the offer to you too.
Dude, I love building PCs, man. I built mine, I built my brother's, I built my friends. Yeah, I built a lot of PCs. It's a hobby that if I had enough money to just build PCs all the time, I would. It's fun. It's like Legos. You know, people like enjoy
Sure.
putting stuff together with Legos. That's how it is with me.
I build benches.
Yeah, right.
You build computers. They're roughly the same thing.
Yeah. They're almost identical.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, dude, as you know, God of War came out the other day.
I'm hearing about it from all corners of the universe.
I've got my sexy little Kratos statue here to help
Oh, it's a bobble body.
It's a bobble body, and it's
Solar powered?
solar powered, yeah. But
That makes him oddly saucy.
yeah,
Look how saucy that is.
he doesn't move like that in the game. Just so you know.
He should. I don't know what they were driving at. What does the button do?
It turns it on. It's like you're supposed to bobble by itself. But the problem is we haven't had any sun for the past few days, and I've set this guy out in the window to try to charge him up, and he's not getting a charge. So I haven't even been able to see the bobble effect work.
Yeah.
But we went
to see that wiggle in his walk yet.
Nah, I haven't seen the wiggle. We went to Toys R Us the other day. I went to Best Buy to pick up God of War, and there's a Toys R Us right next to there, and they had all the signs up, 40% off, up to 40% off. I'm like, yeah, I've been wanting to get back in here and try it out one more time. It's the same Toys R Us I started my career at when I worked. It's the one I told the story about. Amy and the kids were in the car with me. I was like, do you guys want to go? And they were like, yeah. Okay, we'll do this one final time. We get in there. It's not that busy. The shelves are not empty. Like I was expecting like halfway empty shelves. But when you start walking around and seeing the prices, you're like, okay, I understand. Everything, it says it advertises up to 40% off. Most everything in the store was only 10% off. And they were 10% off of their already high prices. So
kind of normal prices.
Yeah, you're not going to find any good deals. But the kids had their allowance money. I let them, go in and find something. If you want, we'll buy it, Well, I found this guy, and I was already in the Kratos God of War mood. Amy showed me that. She found it, and he was only $10. I was like, yeah, I gotta have
absolutely.
Kratos here on my game shelf. And that design style, I really like it. I like the new style of Kratos.
Oh,
with
yeah.
The beard and the Norse, like, Viking. Dude, he looks like just a badass Viking.
He's way more badass than the original Kratos now.
I like this style better than the old style.
I wish with the beard they would have given him the power donut haircut though, where he's just got hair on the back and sides.
But then you wouldn't see the back of his neck tattoo.
Bald on top.
It wouldn't work. But Kratos has always been bald though.
I know. I think it would have been funny to give him just like such a nerdy old white guy haircut, and then make him still a badass. Maybe they'll release like an office clerk skin for him.
They could do I could see Saturday Night Live doing something like they did with Kylo Ren.
Right. Yeah.
That was funny. So God of War, man, this game was highly anticipated for me. I will let me start off by saying that it wasn't at first. When I first heard about the new God of War, it looked too different. I was like, wait a second, this doesn't look like God of War. This looks like a Horizon Zero Dawn or a Tomb Raider or something like that. I don't know. Well, as it got closer to release date, I start hearing more and more about it, seeing more and more videos about it. My interest got piqued a little more and more. Well, they released reviews last week, and the reviews were outstanding. This game has like a 95 Metacritic.
Wow.
And that's really unheard of. And most people are saying like, if you own a PS4, you need to play this game. This is the game for you. So I played into the hype and went ahead and pre-ordered the game and picked it up Friday. Put it in Friday night, started playing it. I think I was up till 1 o'clock. I played until I couldn't keep my eyes open anymore.
Right. Yeah.
Got up the next morning and immediately started playing again. Literally it was raining all day yesterday. So I played, God of War all day yesterday. I probably have about 14 hours into the game so far, and it just came out the other day.
Yeah.
So needless to say, if a game can keep you plugged in that long, it's a good game.
Absolutely.
So I'm ready. I guess I don't want to give like a proper review until I finish the game, but I want to give kind of my review up to this point.
Your 2 cents.
My 2 cents.
Your hot take.
Everything that you've heard about this game is absolutely true. Everybody who tells you need to play this game, it's such a great game. Yeah, they're all right. The things that I like about it, and I'm going to point out some things that I don't hear very much, which is...
I don't think you had him turned on.
Is he wiggling now?
Yeah. Moving that little bot of war.
Well, the things that I noticed in the reviews, they don't really get much into why this game is so great. Why is this game so fun? Why do people love it so much? So I want to talk a little bit about that real quick. Uh, so the graphics, you've heard enough about the graphics, I'm sure. The 4K resolution, HDR, it's amazing. It's beautiful. Each environment is unique. Each environment has so much detail. It's incredible. Like you can just look everywhere and there's just so much attention to detail. The character skins, like Kratos, like you can see the pores in his skin and he can see his freaking nipples, man. They put so much
Thank
detail.
God.
Yeah. He's got some like nipples tit-zits going around.
Yeah?
Yeah.
They gave him little tit zits, huh?
They did. They did. And his eyes, his yellow eyes are so like menacing looking and just it's everything. So like even the
So if I Googled Kratos tit zits, you think I could probably
you might, I don't know. Maybe this is just something that I noticed. I'm staring too much at his nipples apparently. But
they are very impressive.
I'm just like in awe of the detail they put into this character. It's like as far as game design, character design goes, like this is probably one of the best looking character designs, and not just designs, but like amount of detail, most realistic looking character designs I've seen in a game yet.
I gotta check it out.
It's got
I can't wait
like
to play
the first boss that you encounter is another kind of Norse character, I guess. Haven't learned much about him yet, but the amount of detail in him and his tattoos, he's got tattoos all over his body. He looks freaking just realistic. This is setting a new bar for how you should look, how you should render characters going forward.
Wow.
It's mostly lost that kind of uncanny valley where people just feel stiff, like the Skyrim stuff,
Right.
It's real stiff and you can't take it seriously. Everything looks so fluid and amazing. The story is good. I'm not going to talk much about the story, but I do want to touch on Kratos is still Kratos. He is still
a grumbling asshole.
Yes, he is. He's a bad dad. He's not a great dad, but he's trying. He's working on it.
Is he?
Yeah. And
this is a funny, just quick sidebar about bad dads.
Yeah.
You know the book Goodnight Moon? That's what it is.
No.
It's a children's like nighttime book. Goodnight Moon, Goodnight Crickets.
Yeah.
All that shit. There's a version of it that we have at the house called Goodnight Darth Vader. And I was reading it to Malone and Tilly the other day. And Malone pointed at Darth Vader. And he said, "Yeah, him." I said, who's him? That's Darth Vader. Who is he? And Malone goes, he's the big guy. He had a robot when he was a little boy, and then he turned into a bad dad."
He's right.
Like, what about, like, nobody needs to see the fucking Star Wars movies now. He summed it all up.
Yeah.
He's a big guy. He had a robot as a little boy, and then he turned into a bad dad.
That's awesome. That's really incredible.
So Darth Vader he is a bad dad.
Well, on that same note, excuse me, Kratos is also a bad dad.
Bad Dads Club.
That's right.
That should be a t-shirt.
He's struggling to make sure that his son can take care of himself. He's teaching his son, but at the same time, he's being a complete dickhead about it. Like, he doesn't really listen to anything that his son is telling him. And he's Kratos. Kratos is Kratos. He's very short spoken, he doesn't have much to say. And it's kind of cool that they left this characterization of Kratos in this game, even though he has a son.
They didn't soften him because of boy.
And he is a little bit softer than the last games. And that's just because he's been out of it for so long. Like,
right.
He's all the Greek gods are dead because he killed them. And now he's in a new era with new different Norse gods, but
wait, so he went from killing all the Greek gods to now he's among the Norse gods?
He's not among them. He's hiding from them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the game starts, he's basically in hiding, raising his family or whatever. And that's as far as I know. And the storyline is kind of drip fed to you as you go, and I'm not going to say anything about it. People need to play it and see for themselves. The game still retains that sense of scale when you approach a giant, like they had the Titans in the other games, and
Yeah.
the big giant sense of scale that it portrayed. This game still does that, and I was really happy to see that, because that was one of the big takeaways from the old God of Wars. The gameplay, is I with this new third person view, I thought that it would lose that action sense that the old games are known for. You throw in your chain swords or whatever, and it seemed to work best in that perspective. And I was like, how are they going to pull this off in third person? They did. They absolutely pulled it off in a way that is so much fun. Like,
Really?
you feel like a badass killing all these monsters playing in third person view. And it's still very much an action oriented game. It's heavily story driven, but it's a very heavily action game. And it gets hard. Like, some of these enemies get tough, and they just send them waves of enemies at you. You got to get through them. And you throw your axe at them, and you can cut them up and whatever else. And Atreus is his son, is also helping you with his bow. And Atreus is not like, he's not like a defenseless character for a little kid.
Which is cool.
Which is awesome. Like, he is very helpful in the game. He's almost like an extension of you. If you thought about it, like, maybe you have a different set of skills that another character doesn't have. Say you have all these skills and they just work it into your character. Like, maybe you could cut people up and then use magic at the same time, this and that. Well, Atreus takes on that extra set of skills, I guess. And he does those things for you. Throwing this axe is so satisfying. You throw the axe and it stays wherever you throw it until you call it back. So you push like R1 or R2 to throw your axe, and you push triangle to call it back to you. It's very much like Thor. Like Marvel movies.
That's rad.
It's so cool, man. It's so fun to play this. Like, if they made a Thor game, this is what I feel like they would do it, or how they would do it. The gameplay is similar, very similar to Tomb Raider style, with the third person perspective and exploration. But the one thing that I want to say, the one takeaway before I stop talking about this game is incredible. If you don't have it, go get it. The exploration, the sense of exploration in this game is amazing.
Is it?
It wants you, it's not a complete open world. It's like a restrictive open world, not unlike that level in Ratchet and Clank that we talked about.
Yeah.
But it's a bigger restricted open world. But it encourages you to go out and find new treasure chests that reward you with upgrade items, money, just collectibles, anything. But these altering paths also have their own storylines and stuff. So it feels like if you don't go do these alternate quests and alternate paths, you're missing out. You're missing out. Because it's like, if you didn't know any better, you would think that it was part of the main story mode. Like, there was a mission where I had to go
fluid.
Rescue a dragon, or not rescue. I had to fight a dragon or something with a dragon. If I had not gone to this path, I would have never seen this awesome freaking dragon.
When you say something with the dragon, was like the first game where it takes a little off screen. You got to hit the buttons just right.
No,
you hear the moans, the bed rattling.
Actually, I have not seen any of that yet.
Really?
No, I'm waiting for it, because I'm not through the game yet. But that was such a kind of a staple of the old games, which reminds me, a lot of the stuff like the gore and everything from the old games has really been toned down for this one.
Really?
It's still a violent game, don't get me wrong, but it's not like over the top for the sake of being over the top.
That's kind of refreshing, honestly.
Yeah, I appreciate that. This game truly feels like an upgrade to the God of War series, a true upgrade to the action genre series in general. It's a great game. It's fantastic. I will revisit this talk later after I finish it to give a kind of full review.
Sure.
But to sum it up, pick it up. If you don't have it, pick it up. It's a great game. Everybody should play it. Now that I'm done talking about Kratos' nipples, let's talk about this beer, man.
Well, it's actually called Kratos' Nipples.
Oh!
Now, this is a Goodwood Hemp Gose. Now, you've talked before about your love of sour beers.
I do like
how you like them, which is weird to me with your love of IPAs. Maybe you just like those extreme flavors.
Yeah. Well, I like sour in general.
Yes.
Like, to me, sour beers remind me of kombucha. Have you ever had a kombucha?
Yeah. I like kombucha quite a bit.
Same type of flavor, I think.
Gose is a variation of a sour beer. It's basically, for all intents and purposes, just a sour beer. It's likened to, the original like German sours of yesteryear or whatever.
Uh-huh.
This particular one is very malty, very sweet, very tart. It is a tart beer. Well, the face you made whenever you first tried it, you weren't expecting how
Right.
tart. I mean, it's a sour fucking beer.
It really is.
And it's hemp aged. It's a Gose aged on hemp, and so they're like it's a crispy tart sour, with a dash of dank. That's like their marketing on it. Is that
Dank is one of my favorite
is
words.
that it's a dank little beer, right?
Yeah.
And you know what? Shit
Like
is
a dank meme.
yeah. It's a
I got my daughter. I said something about a dank meme to my oldest, and she thought it was the funniest damn thing I could ever said. So that's been our word around the house lately.
yeah. Dank memes. That's very modern of you.
Thank you. I do the Twitter.
Yeah. He twits. he twits about. So yeah, it's a light, relatively crisp, sour
crisp. It is
Gose. It's a 5.12 ABV. It's a 7 IBU, I believe.
Right.
Have we explained on the show before what IBU is?
I don't think so. While you are doing that, I wanted to touch on it's misleading. If you've never had a sour before, or even if you have had a sour before, be prepared for what you're going to get yourself into, because the first initial sip it'll hit you in the face. Like it's not what you're expecting.
Right.
But once you savor that flavor, for me at least, I was like, wow, it's really good. I love sour. It's just
Yeah.
It's got a good flavor.
Yeah.
And the crisp, you're like almost like a juice.
Exactly. It's a very juicy beer. That's a
Yeah.
good way to put it. And then, the hemp adds kind of an herbal aroma and an herbal finish to it. And it finishes clean for something so sour. I'm not into the sour game.
Right.
This is a beer that, when it's sitting in front of me, I'll drink it, but I would never reach for this beer. I think that's the closest to a bad review I've given a beer on this show, because I'm pretty much open to all of them.
I think it would be a great spring summertime beer though.
Yeah, sitting outside,
Yeah.
hanging out. This would probably be a good one
Like
to
a
drink.
lemonade or something.
Right.
You know?
I guess I'd probably reach for this before I'd reach for like a Bud Light Lime,
Yeah.
or a Michelob Ultra.
Yeah.
Now you hit me with a PBR, this shit's going back in the fridge. My hipster ass love of PBR.
To be honest with you, I think I might be the opposite. If this was in the cooler and it was hot and I needed something kind of refreshing, I think this would do that for me.
Rise to the top for you.
Yeah, it would.
So, I mean, this is the least technical explanation I've had of a beer so far. A sour is kind of a sour. There's a lot of variations on it, but when it all boils down, it's going to be very malty, very tart.
Yeah.
Very cold and
Do you
sweet
know-
and kind of crisp.
Do you know how they create that bitterness, that sour? Because it's a unique kind of sour. It's not like a IPA bitter. It's a straight sour.
I may be wrong. I had a brewer once tell me, and I've never fact checked this, but to my knowledge, the extent of my knowledge involving sours is that there's a particular strain of yeast that develops it. And that sour flavor is basically a controlled infection of the beer.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like the mash of the
So it's
beer.
not something they add to it. It's more
it's
yeast-based.
a specific yeast that they add to it. But I believe sours were discovered on accident by way of someone's batch getting infected by this particular strain of yeast.
Interesting.
Because you've got all these malts and an obvious lack of hops in the beer.
Right.
It is not hoppy by any stretch.
Right.
Which I'd be interested in seeing and trying. Like, I wonder I wonder that we've had so many IPAs on the show, and we've kind of ventured into sour territory recently.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if we could find hopped sours or like a sour IPA,
I don't know.
or if that's too conflicting.
Yeah, I'm not the one to know. That anything's possible at this point, though.
Right.
I
Right.
think. But the thing
I'm going to
is-
do some research and see what I can find for the next show.
Yeah,
See if we can find, that perfect Hannah Montana, best of both worlds.
The thing is with the with this beer though, when I likened it to a kombucha, it has that sourness because of fermentation. process. I wonder if it's maybe similar to that.
I mean, it is because beer is a fermented product, and I guess the product of the particular fermentation of that particular strain of yeast that makes it sour is what causes it. It is a fermentation thing.
Right.
That yeast fermenting in there is what causes that flavor and what causes it to be sour. The first drink of this beer is like a sour punch to the back of the mouth.
Really is.
I mean, it's seriously like the first time I drank one, I puckered up like a little bitch.
Reminds me of when you were kids and you had the warheads.
Yeah.
Everybody had to.
I mean, it's not so aggressively sour like that, but it fucking surprised me when I took my first drink of it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not terrible. I'm not here to talk shit on the beer. Honestly, Goodwood puts out good beer. They obviously know how to make a quality product. This particular flavor just isn't the product for me.
It's in the boat of either you like it or you don't.
That's beer.
Sour, yes, right.
Yeah. If you like it, you're right. If you hate it, you're right.
I do think though, if you were in the mood to try something new, a sour would be a good way to go. And this is, I think this would be a decent first try.
And honestly, I will give them this. If nothing else, fantastic packaging.
I like it.
That is one of my favorite.
It's so clean.
Yeah. This Goodwood Hemp Gose is one of my personal favorite, aesthetically speaking.
Yeah.
One of my favorite beer cans I've ever seen.
It's an attractive can because of how clean it is. And I stress this all the time as a graphic designer. I am constantly on the road to trying to make my designs clean and accessible, easy on the eyes, something that appeals to you without looking too busy.
Yeah.
And a lot of cans, I mean, while they might have great, beautiful looking artwork and stuff, tend to get too busy.
Right. This particular can has kind of an old school sensibility to it.
Yeah.
That does make it seem more attractive. Makes it
Especially
seem
with
more
that Goodwood
palatable.
Logo.
Yeah, it's I mean, they've got good marketing.
Yeah.
They've got a good aesthetic, got a good look to them. And I can give them mad respect for that. I would like to try more of their offerings.
Do you know where they're out of?
Louisville, Kentucky. Louisville. Oh, Louisville.
Oh, it says right there.
Well, if you hadn't pointed out that it said it right there, it would have seemed like I just knew.
It is a nice, subtle touch, thoh. I like it.
It's just a little badge.
It's a good-looking can.
And it says, touched by wood.
Nice.
Damn straight. They wanted to add that detail in there. So that they probably went through their brewery with a 2x4 and just poked each tank. All right, now tell them it was touched by wood. So what kind of wood? Fucking good wood.
Nice. Well, dude, where can they find us?
Maybe at our website.
Maybe.
At our home website.
The website that we have now?
Yeah, where we hang up our digital hat.
That's right.
Yeah.
You can find everything, all the different places that we are at, you can find on our website, which is
www.jabgcast.com.
Thanks, Ryan.
Slay.